Now, why would North Korea attack Guam, considering its position as a U.S. Pacific territory, strategic location, and its two U.S. bases? It's easy to see why North Korea would target Guam. And here's to explain more, Alfred Asenas from EBC Hawaii Bureau.
Now, ever since Guam became a U.S. territory, it has earned the nickname America's Unsinkable Aircraft Carrier. But there's a more appropriate and official term that can be applied in this scenario, and that term is Power Projection Platform. Now, before we proceed further, let's start off with a big picture of what we got here on this map. Where I'm pointing right now is the Korean Peninsula. That's where North and South Korea is. East of it a bit is Japan. Then you got the Philippines right here, Hawaii in the middle of the screen, and you got North America right behind me. Now you can see this dark line depicted here. This represents a deep terrain, or in this case in the Pacific, it's a trench line. And right where you see this hook is the Marianas Trench, where you can find the Northern Marianas Islands and the island of Guam. So we blew up the image of the island of Guam, and this is what it looks like. 50 kilometers long and about a width ranging from 6 to 19 kilometers. Now, there are only two locations that we're going to talk about that are of strategic importance. This location right here in the north and out here on the western side. We'll start off with the northern part, and I'll show you why. Located near the northern tip of Guam sits Andersen Air Base. Now, you can see these runways and taxiways long enough to actually accommodate the landing of the space shuttle when it used to be in service. But these days, we've seen long-range bombers like the B-52s, the B-1s, the B-2s that have made headlines here as they transit their way at this facility on their way to various exercises, whether it be in Korea or elsewhere in the Pacific region. Now, in this vicinity also sits a newly activated air defense unit that has what is called the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, or THAAD missile. So it's postured here to defend this as well as the entire island. Let's go to the western portion of the island now. Now, this particular area could be the actual reason why Guam is called the America's Unsinkable Aircraft Carrier, because here sits the U.S. Naval Base on Guam. Now, this harbor here is big enough to accommodate a carrier strike group. Then you can see the photos here of some vessels, and yes, it is big enough to fit through an aircraft carrier along with support vessels that normally sail through. And beyond what's here on the map are naval facilities, naval magazines, storage areas for munitions, for other weapon systems, not only for the U.S. Navy, but also for the other sister services. And if I'm not mistaken, about 25 to 27% of the land here on Guam is owned by the federal government. So far, we've only covered the military aspect of Guam's strategic importance. But there's one more thing we got to remember. Guam also serves as a platform for humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations in support of recent events like relief operations in the Philippines in the aftermath of Typhoon Haiyan/Yolanda, other calamities that might have taken place in Southeast Asia or further west in East Asia, and even down south in Australia. So take that out, and that's going to create a big strain on any kind of relief that has to come from Hawaii and even coming from the mainland. So another challenge that we got to remember about preserving Guam is its local populace. Recently, and as we covered here in Eagle News, there have been pockets of population that have fought against the status quo of Guam as a U.S. territory. There are some initiatives for push for Guam to become a U.S. state, or even to become a completely independent country. But that's going to be another topic for another time. For now, reporting from Honolulu, Hawaii, I'm Alfred Asenas for Eagle News. I'm one with 25. Back to you in the studio.